Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. BIPOC Streamer Awards. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. BIPOC Streamer Awards. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated. BIPOC Streamer Awards. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.
Hello, everybody. Welcome in. I appreciate everybody for being here. Welcome in, Crispy Spidey, excuse me. Thank you for the raid. I appreciate everybody for the follows. It's going to be such a fun night. So thank you, everybody, for being here. We have some lovely ladies on the panel, and I cannot wait to just have an amazing discussion tonight. We really wanted to take the time and celebrate women streamers, BIPOC women streamers. It is Women's History Month. I think everybody knows that. So my name is Fangirl Review, the founder of BIPOC Streamer Awards. And right now we are in the midst of our nominations. So if you haven't already, make sure you are nominating your favorite BIPOC creator. We have 13 categories this year, 2 new ones, a cozy category. We have a fighting game category, and we renamed one of the categories. Hands and Heart Streamer category is now officially known as the I Just Love Award after the 3-time winner, I Just Love Puzzles. We absolutely adore Jima, so what better way to honor her but to name the award after her. And now, because she retired, she's like, I will not win this award anymore. Let somebody else win it. And we are so blessed for that. The music that you heard earlier during our starting soon and during you will hear during our ending screen was by Scooby Snacks. He is in the chat, so make sure you show some love and support him. He makes some amazing beats. He made some for my personal channel, and he agreed to make some for the BIPOC Streamer Awards channel, as well as some of his friends. So you'll start hearing different songs from them. And yeah, that was my voice because Scooby's like, well, I need your voice saying something. And I'm like, okay. So without further ado, we are going to pull up the amazing, amazing ladies that will be on this panel. I'm going to switch over to them. So I hope they're ready. Okay, yay. Okay, so I have with me, I'm just going to go around, introduce everybody, and then we're going to hear a little bit about each one of them. For first, let me introduce them. First up, since I'm just going to go clockwise, right? Right, we're going to go clockwise. Go with that. I have the amazing Nimbly. Nimbly, say hi.
Hi.
I absolutely love her voice and watching her streams. I have the amazing A is MVK, our keyboard warrior. Listen, if y'all want a keyboard, I just be watching. I'd be like, I'd be abusing my keyboards because I know she'll judge how my keyboards look. Yeah. And the amazing, talented TKO. TK.
Hi. The smile on Twitch.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? Like, don't be covering up. So I just want to go around and let you guys kind of introduce yourselves, tell us a little bit about yourself, what platforms you're mainly on, what type of content you produce and everything like that. So first up, I'm going to go counterclockwise. Haha, see that?
Oh.
Yes, sorry. You weren't ready for it. That's you. So TKO, please tell us just a little bit about yourself so everybody can know a little bit about your story.
Hi everyone, I'm TKO. You can call me TK if you want, or K. But I essentially am a variety streamer. I've been streaming for almost 6 years, partnered on Twitch, love playing every game that I possibly can on the hardest difficulty, even if I've never played it before. And that might make you think that I am really good at games, but you'd be wrong.
Listen. Oh, and then like if you're playing on the hardest, isn't that like when you have like permadeath and all of those type of things?
Sometimes, yeah. Like I'll play Souls games, and then I just go into any kind of game. It has the hardest level difficulty I can choose is the one that I go for.
Yeah. So when it says horror, when it's like, oh, easy, normal, horror, you go for the horror one. Okay, yeah. Our resident community manager, Debbie Snacks, does the same thing. She was like, well, I don't want to have to play it a second time, so I'm just going to play it on the hardest one ever. Yeah. I'm like, I'm over here playing easy and fishing, and I'm going to call it a day. Next up, so thank you so much, TKO. Next up, we have A, it's MVK. Tell us a little bit about yourself and your journey.
Well, hey, everybody. I'm MVK. I'm the coolest auntie in these streamer streets. I am a Twitch affiliate, YouTube partner, and I do sometimes stream on TikTok. I got to get my cool back on there. I play mostly shooters, but I will throw in an occasional detective cozy game here and there. And I also build mechanical keyboards, and I have an extremely terrible, real bad Chuck fetish. I love Chuck Taylors so much. Like, so much. So yeah, that's pretty much me. Oh, I'm neurospicy too. Okay. ADHD.
Love it.
So. Wait, high masking autism as well. So
I think everybody in the chat wants to know how many Chuck Taylors do you have?
Ooh.
So we can secretly judge.
So we listen and we don't judge, right? I'm gonna say upwards of about 50 pair
Oh my
right now,
God.
because I just got
Oh,
into the Chuck
closet
fetish
tour.
about 5, 6 years ago. So yeah, I just recently got some Tom and Jerry Chucks.
Those must be
Ooh.
That's
so
all
good.
good.
I only have
Yeah,
I only have one pair, and it's like a Batman, and like that's it. Like I thought it was
yeah,
cool,
I
and
have
then
all kinds.
that was it.
Do you have
Thank
like a
you.
video collection of all
Right.
your
I don't.
chucks?
I need to.
That would be so
Let me
cool for
clean them,
TikTok.
and then I think that would be yeah.
Yes,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a
closet
clean
Yes.
them and
tour.
work on that.
Yeah.
Okay. And last but not least, we have Nimbly. Tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. Usually I introduce myself as folks a high femme comforting friend and lore keeper, and like TK and MVK, I like keyboards and Souls games, but I also just like making comforting and affirming spacious. Yeah, we'll say spacious for people online. I do a little bit of variety. I do art, cosplay, accidental ASMR. Lately, I've been really into Pokemon. I grew up with Pokemon, but I missed most of the games after Gen 3 up until the most recent one. So I've been dabbling and getting back into that. So I'm just really grateful to be here with everyone because I'm shy and I don't get to meet people very often. So thank you for having me here.
Well, you're now officially part of our family, so and everybody will tell you that my nickname is Fan Bully. So I do regularly check in on people, like, what are you doing? What are you up to? How's it going? How's life? Blah blah blah. So just to prepare you, just a little bit, okay? So
All right.
you won't get to be shy because I would just be like, hey.
That's okay. Bring me out of my shell.
Okay, so again, thank you everybody in the chat. I see you. I appreciate everybody. I see my amazing mods. We have an amazing team. Yes, Yaktown fangirl, be bullying. Be quiet. Shh, they don't know that yet. So let's just hop right into the questions. Everybody, if you have questions in the chat, please go ahead and ask away. The amazing mods will be staying on top of that. And yes, I do have a few nemesis, and one of them is in the chat. Okay, so our first question. First, I want to give a huge shout out to Don't Be Jealous, our executive producer, who walked me through how to be a real streamer, and I never knew about nested scenes. So shout out to Jealous because I was
We love
like,
jealous. Hmm.
I don't know. What are you talking about? Nested scenes. Can't you just do this all for me? But I'm gonna run the production. Okay.
You're doing great. Streaming is
You
hard.
are.
You're killing it.
Yes. Okay. So the first question of the night is, when was the first time you saw yourself represented in a gaming or online space, and how did it impact you? So I'm just going to jump around. First up, A is MVK.
I knew it. I knew it. Really, I did not notice it until I started streaming 4.5 years ago. I did not know there were so many Black women gamers out here in these spaces. It was Black Girl Gamers, I think, was the first stream team that I noticed, and I was like, wow, there's a lot of women out here who look like me, who are out here killing it in the gaming scene. This is awesome. Like, there's representation and there's people for me to look up to. So that's when I would say is when I first started streaming almost 5 years ago.
Okay. Awesome. TKO.
Honestly, I I would say it took me streaming. I'm Filipino, and I know that there's a lot of Filipinos in the gaming scene, but a lot of them were men, and a lot of them were competitive gamers. So once I started getting more into the Twitch space, is when I started seeing more representation of Filipino women. Um, Few and far between. I think that they've actually grown, like the community has grown as far
Yeah.
as Filipino women now. But yeah.
Awesome. Thank you. Nimbly.
Yeah, I agree with both MV and TK because I'm Black and Filipino. So I don't think I have seen really many other like mixed race folks in this space, but I know that we're out there. It's just, I think it's a big barrier to entry to get into streaming for most like BIPOC folks. But yeah, I don't think it was until I had been actively streaming for about 2 years that I really kind of found my crew, and a big factor in that was like what MV said with Black Girl Gamers. Oh, there was another one too. I think it was like a group of like Black simmers, and I was able to find other like Black streamers through that, and just kind of like hopscotching around different communities to find more like Black and mixed race folks. But yeah, there's a lot more of us now. I've been seeing it grow more and more at every TwitchCon I've gone to. So shout out to everyone putting themselves out there.
No, I completely agree. As all the ladies said, you just got to like find us. Like we're in pockets, and you just got to like dig and find us. And it's amazing. That's part of the reason why I even started the award shows, because I wanted a space that everybody can come together. And one of my greatest joys is when I hear somebody say, I didn't even know about that nominee, but now I do, and I follow them and I love them. Like that, I'm like, that's exactly what I wanted more than anything, is that we can find each other and support and uplift. So thank you. Again, everybody in the chat, you are welcome to ask questions. Even though I did prepare like 5,000 questions for them, but you guys are also welcome questions. So next up is, have you ever had a moment when you realized your presence made a difference for someone else? So I'm just going to go clockwise. Nimbly.
I'm only laughing because I just messaged TK and told her I was on my period, and I felt like this conversation was going to make me cry. And
I'll cry with you.
Listen, I'm ready. I purposely did not wear
I could,
mascara
like,
just in
I
case.
could feel it, and then I was like, "Oh yeah, this is the next question." I also think that it's okay to cry, especially for like BIPOC women. I think we're socialized to be like strong and all that, be like the pillar in our community, and but yeah, I think I'm gonna lock in. Actually, could y'all come back to me? I just need a second.
You need a moment? Okay,
yeah.
I got you.
I just need a second. I want to be able to, because it's something that happened at this past TwitchCon that has stuck with me. But
yes.
I don't want to get totally choked.
No.
Sorry to put y'all on the chopping block, but I do need a second to get
It's
my
okay.
composure.
MVK, go ahead.
All right, so I'm trying to be the thug of the group. We thugs, we hoard, we're thugs. I think for me, really, I'm one of those ones, I don't really realize how much of an impact I've made on someone unless they actually tell me. So when people in stream come through and are like, this is my safe space, or I'm happy here, or I'm glad to see you on, I was having a rough day, or I had one where somebody almost did not want to be here, and it wasn't until I cut on the stream. No, I'm a thug. It wasn't until I cut on the stream.
It's all right. Listen. Hold on. Take your time.
I gotta get myself together. But it wasn't until I cut on the stream that it made them rethink their life and continue to go forward. And I would have never guessed, because I've always been one where I'm never seen. Like, I'm visible, I'm physically there, but I was never noticed or seen. So to hear people say that I helped them through their day, it's a blessing, and I'm grateful for it. I'm sorry, Nimble.
You need to apologize. It's okay. No,
But yeah.
Listen, crying is like taking your soul to the laundromat. You will listen. That's exactly what we're doing. So just take a moment, breathe. Don't be sorry for that.
Yeah.
That's why,
that was my answer.
These discussions are very important that we have them. We do have an impact on people, and you never know until somebody lets you know. So, you're impacting, everybody on this panel is impacting somebody right now in chat. So trust that. Nimbly, are you okay? Or do you want me to come back and just go to TK?
I think I can, especially just to echo what MV was saying. It was when I went to TwitchCon last year, and I was leaving the block party, which was really fun, seeing all your friends, and someone came up to me and they looked like they might have been lost, or I just wasn't totally sure what was going on, and I was with a group of friends, and we like to make sure that everybody is safe, even if we don't know them, so we checked in with them, And right away, they just started saying similar things to what MV's community members said about the space that I have created over the years has been a safe space for them. And they just started like breaking down in front of me. And one thing that I do when I go to conventions that keeps me from being like a puddle of emotions, and I just get really freaked out on caffeine. So the tears can't penetrate through. So it was like 11 p.m. I had 450 milligrams of caffeine in me. And I was just like, all right, I really got to lock in. This person is opening their heart up to me. I don't remember who they are because they've been lurking, but they're telling me this, so I need to be present. And right after that, I just started like breaking down. Once we consoled them, and one of my mods, who's actually in chat right now, was there with me, and we were both soothing them. And it just made me realize that regardless of what it is that you do, when you're a marginalized creator, you are helping other people like you, whether you share the same identity based on your like heritage or your ability. Like it's like a form of community activism just by existing, and it's something we should hold ourselves on like high esteem for, and also make sure we're nurturing ourselves, because they see how we carry ourselves and how we are loving and open, and that's not something that you can do if you're not pouring into your own cup. If that makes sense. So
Yes.
also, Envy, thank you for crying, because I went into like eldest daughter mode. So I was like, okay, no, I got this.
And I'm such an ugly crier, so I'm just
No,
like,
you're
no.
not. No,
Yeah,
no, no, no. But yeah, thank you.
It's like I have
Thank
an
you for
eyeliner
this.
for crying out loud.
It's okay. It's okay. The tears must flow.
Yeah, listen, that's why I was like, leave that. I was like, no eyeliner, no mascara. Let me be prepared.
And I thought about not putting some on either. I was like, I should be good.
Yeah,
Every time I put on eyeliner.
it's okay.
TKO, did you want to add anything as well?
Yeah. I am just like, well, Nimbly's over here for me, but I'm just like Nimbly in the older sister, older sibling mode. So I tend to like shut out tears, but I'm here for you guys if it is there, and it might come up, honestly. But I think, to answer your question, Fangirl, I think the moment that I realized that I made a big impact on people in my community was there was a time where we were all discussing while I was streaming. I don't know how the conversation came about, but it was just how everybody found my stream, or how anyone met me. And it was very humbling to see all of the different responses. And then a lot of them have in turn reached out to me saying that the way that I impacted them in the space was I connected them in the community with other like-minded people, whether it be a streamer or just like a friend that they met, and now they feel less alone, or they feel like they're not just the only person like them out there.
Yeah, no, definitely like creating that space that helps people not feel alone. Like all you ladies do that, and it's amazing. So on behalf of the community, I want to say thank you for creating those type of spaces. All right, y'all, come on. We got this. We got
I'm back on thug mode.
Pull
This is
through.
question
Pull
2.
through.
We got deep on question 2.
That's
Imagine
okay.
that.
We're ripping the band-aid off. Yeah.
Exactly. So we're good from now on. We got it. Yeah, see, Debbie said holding it in isn't good. You just got to release it, let it go. So building on that and how we have been able to create spaces for people to feel uplifted and supported, what are some ways platforms can do better in uplifting BIPOC women in the industry? Let's see. TKO, we're going to start with you.
Listening. Listening is the biggest one for me. Without being too, I guess, on the nose with things, I feel like I've often seen where companies, brands, orgs will be called out on certain things, especially with not giving proper representation, or even like giving the same opportunities, whether they realize they're doing it or not. Whatever excuse they have. I feel like listening and not just being there to respond is a big step that seems to be missed quite often.
Yeah. No, definitely that child listening. And I think we're not going to talk about the elephant in the room that recently happened in which the org didn't listen and people talked about it and then they were doubling down. It was like, well, no, just
Yeah.
we just want to have a conversation. Okay, we're not going to jump you in the parking lot. Just let us have a conversation.
And I've seen that often where it's listening to respond and not listening to understand. It feels it people always refer to it as like a PR statement, but even PR statements shouldn't even be like that. It really should be listening to learn, take accountability, and do better and understand.
Yes. Thank you. MVK?
So this is one of these things where I'm just sitting back and kind of like learning as someone who I consider myself to be an up and coming streamer. A lot of times I don't go for opportunities because I feel like I'm not big enough. And that's where the listening comes in and giving opportunities. So I'm actually learning from listening to TKO and eventually listening to what Nimbly has to say. To be honest, I don't really want to throw like word salad out there. I'm just listening on this one. So I'm gonna fall back and just kind of listen in on the ladies on this one, to be perfectly honest.
No, I respect that. Nimbly?
I'm actually glad that you said that because that was part of what my answer was going to be, is that I feel like companies have the resources to do outreach beyond opportunities, if that makes sense, because I have a really difficult time wanting to support organizations that. So let me give a little bit of background. I worked in the nonprofit sector, and one of the most difficult parts of that was knowing that a lot of the people that needed aid the most had to essentially give their entire life story and this whole pitch just to get a very small, stipend, just to maybe be able to do like something that people with a lot more access to resources could do easily. And just given my background and where I'm from the Bay Area, specifically Oakland, home of the Black Panther Party, that's how we got a lot of resources for like, low income families just from community care. So my mindset is always, if a company has resources, they should just try to find the people that need it and give it to them without them having to put themselves on this like pedestal and just kind of beg for those resources. And I feel like, especially when companies like the ones that we are vaguely referring to, when they respond defensively like that, it shows me that they're not really interested, at least in my eyes, uplifting the people, but just wanting to look good. And I feel like they can put their money where their mouth is by just literally taking the time to go on Twitch, look in tags for people who are, Black or Southeast Asian. Like a lot of people tag their streams with their identity, or if they're, queer, and reach out to them directly and ask them, hey, we have this amount of budget. We're trying to find creators that are up and coming. What are some supplies and materials that you need just so that you can upgrade your stream? Like in my ideal scenario, companies should be making an effort to reach out to those people, because even though we're not in the majority when it comes to the gaming space, like a lot of it has to do with literal financial access that people don't have. But I get a little hot talking about that because I remember the first time I went to a gaming convention, I was the only non-white person there, and I'm clear, y'all. I'm transparent. I'm melanint.
No.
Like, so the fact that I was the only person there, and I knew that that's not representative of the gaming space overall. It's just like marginalized people weren't able to afford to go to the convention. I'm like, okay, well, we're buying into these franchises. Why aren't the franchises returning that to the space? So I don't know how realistic of a ask that is, but that is my kind of demand from companies, if I choose to partner with them, is what actual work are you doing to find the people that need the help the most?
No, go ahead.
Sorry, I just wanted to just say something real quick. It shouldn't even be considered like a hard ask. That should never be considered a hard ask. That should be just as easy as it is finding anyone white anyone, literally anyone, white male, white female. It should not be a hard ask.
No, that's actually a really good idea that you presented. Like, we use the tags. You can find us very easily.
We have Unity guilds now.
Mm-hmm.
Tap in
Sure do.
very easily.
We have ambassadors who would happily lead you in the right direction. But again, that's my hot take when it comes to what I want from companies. If it were individual people asking me what, questions, I would give something that was a little bit more PR friendly. But if it's for companies, they need to take more action in giving those resources back to the people that, it doesn't make sense to me. Like, there's a certain game community that I was a part of where there are more in-game BIPOC than there are in their actual partner program, which I still have issues with, which is why I haven't been promoting the game as much. I haven't discussed this with the team that I'm on yet, but it's just it's just weird to me. But yeah.
No, that's actually, no, you bring up a good point. Like, the people playing your game, but you don't have representation in your creator program. So, no, thank you. Thank you. That's very insightful. We do have a question in the chat from our event coordinator, actually, that boy Tipsy. What is some advice you would give to the next generation of women starting on their content creation journey? Let's see. MBK.
Just be yourself. Don't feel that you have to dress a certain way, look a certain way, be a certain way just to get the growth that you desire, to get to your goals that you desire. Your vibe is going to always attract your tribe. So just put your authentic self out there. And that's my advice.
Thank you. TKO?
The ban button is your best friend. If you don't like it, you don't have to go to Twitter and ask. Just go ahead and ban them because you don't know them. They don't know you.
Ooh. Listen, bring that ban hammer down.
Millionaire.
Nimbly.
The question was advice for people that are just getting started.
Yes. For the next generation of women.
Y'all already gave really good ones. I think don't be afraid to reach out to folks. I've been doing this for almost 5 years now, and only in the last couple of years have I been more proactive about connecting with other people on like a more, I don't want to say emotionally intimate because I feel like I'm always that way, but just wanting to hang out with people, I think there should be a balance of wanting to do collaborations with folks and also just getting to know them too. Just sending them a Discord message, say, hey, you want to hop on a call? Just the same way you would with if you knew the person as a colleague at work, if you had a good chemistry. I think that sometimes, and I don't want to speak for folks here, but I know for myself, I didn't seek out different opportunities, even for just really casual things, because I didn't really know people well, and I was afraid that, I would be stepping on toes or taking up too much space, but you'll feel that weight less, in my experience, if you just talk to people. If people don't like your energy for whatever reason, or you don't click, that's fine, but you won't know unless you try. So, even though it's scary, you can just lurk in the chat, say hi, send a few emotes, and then just gradually, be like, hey, want a game sometime or something like that. Yeah.
No, thank you. Like, actually, thank you for bringing that up. Just collaborating. Don't be afraid. Like, hang out, talk to people, and eventually, like, you will be like, okay, like, let's play a game. So no, thank you. You guys y'all got some great answers. Shoot. So again, everybody in chat, yes, please, you can go ahead and ask any question. The chat, all the amazing mods are bringing up those questions for me. So make sure you just highlight your question so we can read what you're saying and you don't get lost. Okay. All right, so this is a heavy hitting question. What barriers did you face when first starting out, and how did you overcome them? Nimbly.
I felt like there were a lot. I think I was one of my biggest barriers, truthfully. Just, and I know this is common for creators, regardless of how long they've been doing it, but just that internal struggle of feeling valid as a creator. Because when I first got on Twitch, I thought, it was this gamer platform where I needed to be really, like flamboyant and high energy and like almost aggressive, because I feel like there are people that are like golden retriever energy, like enthusiastic, and then there's like this, like what TK was saying, like very competitive, and not even just like with the game, but almost with your persona that you have. And I never thought that my, type of space and way that I carry myself would be like entertaining to people. But and that kept me from doing so many things for years. Also, just again, the financial aspect, it was really expensive to get different tech. And having social anxiety as a creator is really tough, especially when you're neurodivergent, because a lot of folks communicate very differently from neurodivergent people, I've learned. Every person is different, but I've found that a lot of folks that are neurospicy tend to be a little bit more forward when we communicate. Like we say how we feel, and if we need something, for the most part, that's been my experience with folks, and that's not always the case. So just kind of picking up on clicky type of behavior was really tough for me to navigate. So I just isolated. So it's a lot better now. But yeah, those are definitely some big barriers for me when I first started.
Thank you. No, just like you said, like communicating and understanding others, and especially if you're neurodivergent and navigating those social spaces. So no, thank you. TKO.
Um, ooh, uh, a lot of them were based on me being a woman, essentially, and then also just like obviously without being too triggering, the racial aspect of it. But I definitely feel like a lot of the hurdles that I went through um, pertain to me being a brown woman, essentially. And it was often, I would get botted, or I would have other male streamers that were like, when I first started out, were friends with me, and then as I began to grow, um, were almost jealous of me, even though we were friends, and it turned into a lot of drama for me that just didn't need to be drama, and really made me feel like I needed to water myself down as a creator, just because I would be told I was too much, or the only reason that I was even growing as fast as I was is because I'm a woman and they can't compete with women, which is crazy to think about to me because women just don't grow on the platform like men do. So that was the thing. And then, yeah, obviously the random bots that would come in and make comments, incorrect comments on my race. But yeah.
Listen. I know everybody in the chat is like, when you said that, like, whew,
I know.
because we
I'm like, I
all
can't
felt
say what I
it.
want to say, but I'm glad that you have people that will keep you safeguarded. I'm like, we gotta keep it professional, right?
Yeah, I mean, I will say that, like, through all of the many trials that I went through, I definitely have found myself amongst a community of people and more friends. Nimbly and I even like connected through unfortunate events, but you know, I always count them as my blessing for the obstacle that I had to go through then.
Love you.
Yes.
Love you.
Oh.
Oh.
MVK, you as well? Like, what barriers did you face when starting out, and how did you overcome them?
So Nimbly actually hit everything on the head. Actually, both ladies hit everything on the head with internal struggles for me. But also the beauty aspect of it, as I was talking about earlier, like not feeling, because most of the women that I would find on Twitch, they were like drop dead gorgeous, like beautiful, like these two ladies, and I'm like, I don't look like that. Like, I'm so awkward. I don't have my ish together. Like, I am a hot apple mess. And I'm introverted. And I just, would people watch me? Am I going to be too boring? Am I going to be too all over the place? But how I overcame that was you can't help genetics. I look the way I look. If you think I'm pretty, that's great. If not, there's somebody that does. Just gonna turn on this camera, have a good time, and what will be. And at the end of the stream, I'm gonna go curl up to that person that thinks I'm beautiful, and snore, knock out. Do what I need to do. But yeah, it was a self-esteem issues was my biggest obstacle, and I still deal with it a little bit, imposter syndrome. But I still turn the camera on because in my brain is there's somebody out there that needs me, so I need to be there for them, regardless of how I feel. We compartmentalize that, deal with that later. But right now, let's have a good time with the community.
Thank you so much. You ladies brought up some really great points. And actually, just kind of building on that, we have a question from our community manager, Debbie Snacks. What healthy things do you do to get outside of your own head when you're feeling overwhelmed, especially as a woman in this industry? We're going to go straight to MVK.
So I love music. So whenever I get in my own head, I'll start to sing. A lot of times if I'm streaming and you hear me singing along with the music, it's because I'm trying to fight off a panic attack, or I stem a lot. Again, I'm neurodivergent, so I have a lot of stems, or I will type on my keyboard that has a specific sound. The one that I used to stream on TikTok with, I'll just plug that in and go to a typing website, and I'll just start typing, and the sound of the keyboard just gets me. Or I might go and stretch, or I might take my puppy for a walk or something. I just try to do something that makes me happy. Look at my pair of Chucks or hug my Yoshi. It just really just depends on what I'm feeling on the day, but those are some of my main ones. Or a shower with really, really hot water, because I like super hot water in my shower, and I just like let that water go, and I just kind of think and breathe, and just tell myself the evidence is not the truth. What I see is not there. Like, don't believe what's in your head.
Yes. And so. Dr. Peaches 89 says hugging a Yoshi is always a vibe. So listen, I completely understand. And those extra hot showers, I never realized.
The water is on hell every time.
I never realized that like my showers were that hot until somebody like was sharing it, and they were like, are you trying to kill me? I was like, this isn't even hot. This isn't even that bad. I turned it down.
I call it my shrimp boil.
Yes. Love a hot showers.
But apparently that's I don't know. They say statistically women do that with scalding hot showers, but I don't know. I feel like it's fine. Nimbly, what are some healthy things that you do outside of your head if you're feeling overwhelmed?
Well, I scream and karaoke a lot. I do that a lot at home. I just put on my favorite metal on YouTube karaoke. Not ice cream. I scream like I'm yelling loudly.
Oh.
I do like ice cream. No, I'm actually
I would eat
screaming.
ice cream.
Screamo, got it.
Like, yeah.
Because I definitely went Cold Stone in my brain. I'm not gonna lie to you.
Like,
I did.
Yeah, because like I have a lot of, I don't know, I think the hot showers and like feminine rage Venn diagram is a circle, but yeah, I found that really cathartic because like again, I'm from Oakland. We have like a big like hip hop scene, but we also have a huge like punk and metal scene out here. So it was really cool being a teenager and dealing with all of the difficulties that I did. But then I would go to like a show at the Gilman, which that's where Green Day got started for anyone that knows
Oh.
that group.
Oh,
And
cool.
it would just be like little tiny me, barely 5'2", 5'3", in the mosh pit, just screaming. And I brought that into my adult life. I don't do it on stream because I think that would be alarming to people. But that's something that I enjoy doing. Also spending time with my loved ones and my friends always feels really healing to me because it like what MVK was saying, just kind of having that grounding of like the things that are in your head aren't real. I always assume that regardless of what people are telling me, and this is just due to trauma and my OCD and my brain just being the way that it is, I'm like, even if they're being nice to me, they secretly hate me and they're just being nice to me to be nice. But when I spend time with them, that quiets down. I think a lot of people deal with it, but it's scary to talk about that, which I totally understand. But anytime I spend time with my loved ones, I just feel infinitely better. And then just doing a lot of yoga. Yeah, so scream, friends, yoga. That's my pyramid.
No, that is a great trifecta right there. TKO?
So I have, and now I have two, I guess, different things. One when I'm by myself and one when I'm not. But when I'm alone, I have started sticking my head into the freezer to cool down, and just kind of like talking to myself there for a minute, or I'll take my dogs out for a walk or something, or I'll just like hang out with them. But um, yeah, I have started doing a thing where I'm talking more, and I get a lot of like if I'm feeling imposter syndrome or if I'm feeling bad about myself or something didn't sit right with me or I'm just overthinking, I tend to lean on my partner, Kage, who's in chat actually, but he like I'll tell him like I will literally walk him step by step through my spiral and then just see where he's at, and see if I can just get like an outside perspective that isn't me just like stepping on my own self, I guess.
Yeah. No, that's definitely good. Having that outside perspective, having somebody to lean on, whether it's a partner, family, friends, and everything like that. I like to do what is called my burrito days, which is when I just wrap myself up in a blanket. And it's okay if I cry, if it's okay if I rage, I'm just going to be in my little blanket and I turn off my phone and I just disconnect. Since I'm always like
Mm-hmm.
doing 1,000 things, my healthy approach is to do nothing. And it's like, I'm just going to turn everything off and, you know, let the YouTube
Mm-hmm.
watch me and I'm just going to read a book and do nothing. So just oh, and in chat, Amethyst Moon, our mod said, first you scream and then you have ice cream. So,
That's it.
like, that needs to be a tagline right there. I love that.
First cream, then ice cream.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, and so in chat, we have some people. Jealous says she likes to do something goofy. What else does everybody else do? So, can we get that on merch? That would actually make really good merch. So, thank you, everybody. Take notes. Like, these are different things everybody you can do. If you're singing, if you isolate, if you lean on friends and family, like, just do what you know works best for you. And like, there's no judgment. You do what works. What works. So.
It's nice hearing what other people do too, because sometimes I don't know if anyone else is this way. Sometimes my usual self-care tools don't work. So it's nice to hear what other people's coping mechanisms are. It's like, oh, write that down for next time.
Yes. Listen, a
My
burrito
sticky
day.
notes right here.
Oh, perfect. Yeah.
Listen, the burrito day. And I have it in my cart to buy an actual blanket that looks like the burrito. And I'm
Oh
like,
my God.
are you going too far? You don't need that. And I take it back out. Then I put it back in. But one day you'll see me wrapped up as a burrito because that's
It's
nasty.
immersion.
Right?
Yeah.
Last Black Spartan says, violent games help me out. Listen.
Oh,
No, I understand it.
And sometimes going on a drive works too. Like just getting out and just driving, just have your music going and thinking. And then also another big one, I don't know how I didn't say that, my faith. I just talk to God. I'm Christian, so I talk to God. I'm a ratchet Christian though. I might cuss a little bit, but I love Jesus. But I might just talk. Just, okay, God, here I am. This is what's happening. And that helps me to get through what I'm going through as well. I don't know how I didn't say that. Good gracious, MBK.
Talking is hard, especially
Yes.
on camera. So you're doing great.
Yeah,
You
you're
are.
doing amazing. So let's see. I see Debbie Snacks in the chat, and I'm going to ignore your Taylor Port comment because no. We do judge. We listen and we judge you. Okay. Somebody else. So yeah, no, thank you everybody. I see everybody in the chat. So definitely take notes from everybody. Like Nimbly brings up, sometimes your self-care approaches might not work. So learning other approaches, like sometimes you just need other ideas. Okay. Just looking over. So no other questions. I think we briefly talked about this. How do you handle negativity and harassment in online spaces? Ooh. Ugh. Listen. Ban them all. TKO.
okay. Well, this is my toxic trait. I engage to a point where my mods now know that if they have to basically race to the ban hammer before I engage is the issue. So that might be my toxic trait. But if you're looking for something that's not that, honestly, just if it feels like you want to engage, you can. But it's also probably in your best interest to remember that the people who are saying anything, whether they're harassing you or, just like whatever it might be, any kind of negativity, they are in turn not saying that to see if they're like their only goal is to get to you. So they're going to say whatever they can, no matter how well you try to educate them on anything. They are just there to be negative because they want somebody to be as miserable as them. So it's just remembering that and then just removing them from your space. There's no need to keep them around, no matter how long they've been a part of your community. It's, again, they don't really know you. You don't know them. It's very much a parasocial, idealistic thing from that. So, yeah, ban.
Thank you. And I see in the chat, when they go low, we go lower from Blue Satire. And Nimbly said, we go to the Earth's core. Okay.
Listen, straight to the magma.
And Crispy Spidey brings up a important heavy on the no matter how long they've been a part of the community. That is actually, I'm going to build a little bit on that. Just dealing with somebody who might have been with you day one and then they take a turn, like handling them. Last Black Spartan, treat them like roaches. Okay. Nimbly, how do you handle negativity and harassment in online spaces?
I think it depends on a lot of things. Most of the time, like I try to process it like how TK just said so perfectly, is remembering the person that's saying that to you and what their intention is. But depending on, I'll give a little bit of a background. I got on Twitch not because I wanted to find cozy games. I got on Twitch because I have 4,600 hours in Overwatch and I wanted to get better. So I was used to hearing all sorts of things. Like that's that's a lot of time to be subjected to a very, very toxic community. So I was used to hearing those sorts of things, and I just knew over time like what that kind of person is like, especially with the streamers that I was watching at the time, what they had to endure. So depending on the day and the circumstance, sometimes you'll get Overwatch Nimbly, sometimes you'll get like regular Nimbly. Overwatch Nimbly usually says things like, my content must be really good because you had nothing better to do than to come and say something disruptive and foul. I hope that you find better hobbies. Someone said something really gross and perverted in my chat the other day, and I said something a little harsher, but just to keep the energy nice and chill here, I won't repeat it. Because my stream is a safe space for a lot of people, and especially for like the women in my community, I never want them to feel like they need to laugh off things like that when people are being disgusting. And that it is okay to not necessarily give that energy back to them, but let them know that you're not afraid of them and that they're not going to back you into this like emotional corner and make you be afraid to be online. Because I've seen that a lot, and I'm like a very like high femme person, so I think that sometimes see that almost as a weakness, but to me, like it's a strength because it almost feels like you have a target on yourself, and people think they can just say and do whatever, and you're gonna. There's nothing wrong if that does get to you, and you do need to break down. Like I've definitely had those moments, but it's almost like no, I'm gonna double down on this. Like, you're being ridiculous and foul and disgusting. Like, do better. But for the most part, we try to moderate it because, like with TK, I think my mods don't like taking that risk in figuring out which side of the Gemini coin is gonna show up on there. And yeah, my auto mod word list is long. And I block and ban people. They get 2 chances if I don't know them. They get 3 if I do know them. But beyond that, that's it. I'm sorry that was so long. It's something I think about a lot because in order to have like safer spaces online, you do need to think about that aspect. So
No, it wasn't
yeah,
long at all. Like you brought up
yeah.
a lot of really great points, especially, like a lot of times they do want, especially us as women to like kind of curl in and be like, "Oh," and then like cut our stream and like, get off of Twitch and or whatever platform we may be on, and like that's what they want. And so sometimes they be like, "Oh no, you got the right one today." So sometimes
Oh,
you have to give that energy.
no, that's exactly what happened because TwitchCon, because again, I'm from Oakland. If y'all don't know anything about Oakland, Kendrick Lamar referenced Oakland in one of his most popular songs recently. Regardless of what you look like, we all have that energy. And I went to TwitchCon San Diego this past year, and we went to some sort of like after party that was sort of hosted by something at Twitch. And me and my friends who I was one of the older people in our group. There was like a group of women. We were all waiting in line outside of the club that we were going to get into, and these 2 guys were looking at my friends and me, and I just like having a good situational awareness. And I remember one of the guys kind of coming up to us while we were in line and saying like, "Hey, you want to drink some of this?" And it was like a handle of some kind of alcohol. And my friends looked really nervous because they didn't want to cause a scene. But me, I'm just like, don't you feel ridiculous offering a group of young women an open bottle of alcohol at a gamer after party? Like, what do we look like to you? And he just was like, "Oh, I'm sorry." But at first he was being really aggressive about it. And I think that when you put that back in their face, it's like I don't want to put my friends in a dangerous situation by antagonizing this person, but I'm also standing my ground and showing them like, yeah, this is weird. Stop doing that. And the people that are around us also know like they don't have to give in to this weird behavior. So, yeah.
Exactly. Y'all see the weird behavior, you call them out.
Exactly. Like they have the audacity to do that. Like why can't I have the audacity to tell them that they're being horrible?
MBK.
So this is one of these situations where I am low-key thankful that I got bullied and called all types of names growing up in school because I developed a pretty thick skin for this. I low-key have a zero tolerance policy for bullying and trolling. If I don't know you and you're coming in with all the trolling and stuff. My mom's gang ban. Like they'll jump you, they'll ban you, unban you, ban you again. Like you get stomped in my chat, like virtually stomped. But for me, it's kind of to piggyback off of what Nimbly said. It's like, yeah, you came in here, you called me fat, you called me ugly, you say kick a football through my gap like a field goal. I look like Whoopi Goldberg, but you watched me. It's almost as if when you see somebody that you slept with, like back in the day, and they're like, "Oh, well, you're ugly, you're this, but you still slept with me, didn't you? You still watched me, didn't you? I appreciate your view. I appreciate your engagement. I appreciate all of that. You helped my algorithm, sweetheart. Thank you.
Period.
Now enjoy this band and this block. Be on about your way." That's how I handle it.
I love that concept of banning, unbanning, and banning them again. Like,
Oh no, they jump people real quick. They'll be like, "Wait, let me get in on it. Unban, ban." I was well. Like stupid games, you win stupid prizes. F around and find out.
Exactly.
listen, I love it. Thank you, ladies, for those amazing answers. We do have a couple questions in the chat from our social media manager, Sibo. What are some of your content creation goals this year? So look, we're going to do a positive question. What are some of your content creation goals for this year? Let's start with Nimbly.
I want to have more of a presence on YouTube because I have been starting and stopping projects on there for a while. Excuse me, a big part of that just being afraid of it doing well and that validating that I can be successful, if that makes sense. I'm a perfectionist. I think that has a lot to do with being the eldest daughter. Like you're kind of like the experiment. You have to, set the standard for people when you're growing up. And it's something that's been really healing for me with streaming because you kind of have to just try things and just believe in yourself. And almost just have this unwavering like belief that things are going to be fine. So YouTube is a big one. And also budgeting as much time as possible to do more just like fun things with people. Content wise primarily, but I would love to do more collaboration streams with people, especially now that we have streamed together. I'm just really shy. So this is just a general like, hey, if you want to do a collab with me, just also don't if you get a DM from a Nimbly that is not me, there's like a Nimbly imposter. They have 4 Discord accounts. Mine is the one with the really sparkly fairy profile. I pay for Discord Nitro so I can have all the hearts. If it doesn't have that, that's not me. But message me on Discord or email me. I would love to game and do stuff with y'all. So that's my big thing. YouTube, collaborating.
Awesome. Do you like to play horror games? Let me tell you about this amazing game called Hospital 666. And
Oh Lord.
listen, you are just making sure that everything is on the up and up. Okay, you're just checking that, there might be some blood and some other things. You're just being very protective and that there was nobody killed in the last.
Okay, are there a lot of jump scares? Because I love Silent Hill and I love Souls games. I don't do well with jump scares, but if I'm playing them with people, I'm down. I'm not going to do it by myself. I had to think of, I'm not lying.
No, Debbie's saying that I'm lying. Because I've made Debbie play that game. But it's a 4-player game. So we'll
would be so down.
Okay, so we can make Debbie play as well.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Not save yourself. Somebody ban Debbie.
Really yeah, I played, what's that one with you're like a quota person and you can mod it so you can start twerking. I played that with some of my friends and that was really fun.
I know the game. We played
with
that
the
too.
Quota.
Content?
And the aliens. No, the other Lethal Company. Yeah.
Yes.
Oh.
Well, there's Repo now. That's 6 players. Look, and we have 3 right here on the panel. Me, Debbie, and we just got one
I'm down.
And Jealous.
After hours. Yep. After hours horror stream. I'm into it.
Yes. Look at
Y'all might
that.
actually hear me cuss a lot more often because, boy, a horror game will make me cuss.
I like horror games because when everybody else is scared, then I don't get scared.
Oh, there you go.
Oh,
Yes, I use everybody else as barriers for me being
Not a
scared.
barrier.
listen, I'll be standing right behind you, like, get him, fangirl, you got it.
Please.
And I do bribe. So if we know there's about to be a jump scare and something's about to go wrong, I'll be like, I will gift 5 subs in your chat right now if you go first. I believe in bribery. I believe in
I do like
paying.
money.
I believe in paying to
So-
get my way. I have done it multiple times.
Let's run it. Mhm.
Zadie, like that so elderly sibling of you. Actually, I'm the middle child. I create chaos. And rules don't apply to me.
Mhm.
No, you cannot resign, Debbie. Sorry. Sorry. So, what are some of your content creation goals this year from SIBO? MVK. I know we got a little bit off track.
You're fine. So, the biggest one is building up to eventually become Twitch partner. It's gonna take some time, but I do want to become Twitch partner. It's been a goal of mine really for the last 3.5 years that I've been streaming. So just trying to build and set miniature goals. Like I would like to be at this amount by this time, this amount by this time, and that amount this time in terms of like average views. I also need to get back on my YouTube grind. I'm partnered over there, but I've been slacking. I need to get better with that. Posting content on the regular and recognizing that everything can be content because I too, like Nimbly, am a perfectionist and I have a huge fear of failure and rejection sensitivity, dysphoria, just being scared that things won't go right. So I need to get back on my stuff, like, and stop slacking, essentially. And Sibo gets on me all the time about that. She is on my head. And also take on more clients for keyboard building as well. Push my keyboard building business out there. I need to work with that more as well. So
Yes.
that's what I have for right now.
Yes. Listen. And one thing about me, as soon as I'll be like, oh, you want a keyboard? MVK. You want a little tag for your name? Anka. If you want, like, if you have a business or something you need me to push, the one thing about me is I will always talk positively and uplift people who are not in the room. Okay, like what do you need?
I'm the same way.
I know somebody who makes it, and we will get it to you.
I told TKO, I was like, I am good for encouraging, promoting. When other people have goals, let's get you there. But when it comes to me, whew, boy, I'm working on it. And also, I need to work on making myself big, like marketing myself better. I make myself small in places a lot of times, and I just kind of tuck myself away in a corner where I think nobody can see me, versus like saying, "Hey, I'm here," because I don't want to come off as being like arrogant or
I feel
it just
that
gets me to
in
putting
my
myself out
spirit.
there like that.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, how do I put myself out there without looking like a pick me? I guess that's how I would say that.
You've already
without
been picked, I
looking like a
think.
Yeah.
I think you've already been chosen.
Yes.
So everything else is just a bonus for us to enjoy.
Yes.
Oh, thanks.
Um,
Got me showing my gap on camera.
you show that gap, child, please. Okay. TKO, some of your goals, content creation goals.
I want to do more cinematic content. It's kind of honestly was my goal when I first started streaming. This was very much a hobby for me, and just getting to know people that were into the same things that I was into, anime, gaming, the like. But yeah, I want to move more into cinematic content, filming, traveling. I'm getting my passport this week, so I'm super excited about that.
Yes.
I start a new job next week that will allow me to have more time
Okay.
on the weekend and everything else. So I'm super excited about that. But yeah, that is my goal, is to have more content outside of my Twitch, but gear it more towards cinematic entertainment.
No, we definitely look forward to that. Share it out. We will definitely roll up in support for everybody.
Congrats on the new job.
Yes, very much congrats. Okay, so we have a few questions in the chat. So I'm going to do like a rapid fire. So I'm just going to pick one of you ladies to answer it. Um, so first up, we have from Chicken Wing Crossing. First of all, I am horrible with names. So I'm going to apologize now if I destroy your name. Okay. Just let me disclaimer now. So from Chicken Wing Crossing, what kind of changes would you like to see in the communities to be more inclusive and supportive? So first up, we'll do MBK for that one.
Okay, one more time. What was the question?
I got
Because it was
you.
verbal. So
Yes, totally understand. What kind of changes would you like to see in the communities to be more
Mhm.
inclusive and supportive? And that's from Chicken Wing Crossing.
Not missing out on streamers or content creators just because of the size of their community. Like we talked about earlier, digging through those tags, actually putting in the groundwork to find these streamers. It's not a hard task to do. It's not hard to find people, but there's so many amazing streamers, amazing content creators out there that just need that chance. And if people take a chance on them, they never know what could happen. So just looking for those, not overlooking those streamers or content creators just because they might be smaller than what you think in your mind. But
Exactly.
yeah, that's my.
No, thank you. Thank you. So thank you for the gifted subs. Thank you for that level 2 hype train. I appreciate all of you. Every sub, every gifted, every bit, everything that you guys give, automatically everything goes right back into the BIPOC Streamer Awards. So I truly appreciate that, especially since we have our beautiful our beautiful award. Yes, mine is pink because those are the fangirl colors, but usually it's white and it has like gold on it and stuff like that. But you know, for mine is pink and black. But we got to make these and we got to then mail them. And then if we have anybody who's international, which we've had international winners, we have to play for that. So everything that you guys gift, thank you so much. We truly appreciate that. If you know of anybody who would like to sponsor, or if you yourself would like to sponsor, shoot us an email. Okay. Thank you. All right. Let's see. Rapid fire. So next up is, what's one investment, whether it's equipment, software, skill, etc., that significantly improved your stream? From Majin Bay. So TKO.
I think when I started out, I was streaming from my Xbox. So I think getting a PC was definitely something that helped upgrade my stream for sure. Definitely if you, it's totally okay to stream from your console. I had mine, like, I had it hooked up to my 55-inch TV in my living room. I had my laptop lifted up so I could read chat. I had email notifications sent to my phone so I could see follows. And then I had like a Logitech webcam that was plugged into the back of my Xbox that was sitting on a tripod just facing me. So I think starting anywhere is good, but once you start to get to a point where you're like, okay, this is what I want to do. This is something that's super interesting to me. It's a hobby that I love. Just start doing little bits and pieces here. I think it took me a month to build my PC. I bought every piece separately while paying bills and rent and stuff. And eventually I got there. And I still used that same camera for about a year until I got a new one. So yeah, definitely start with a PC that can handle, whether it's a laptop or not, that can handle what you're wanting to stream, and then build on top of that.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for telling us about your journey. Like, I think a lot of us started with just that console and that was it. And listen, every once in a while I go back to just console streaming because, like, I'm not sitting in the chair. I'm going to lay across my couch and y'all just going to have to deal with it. So our next question is from one of our community managers, Maven. What's your content planning process? How do you keep your content streams fresh and engaging? Nimbly?
This is a really great question. I had I'm trying to condense it down because I know we're time crunch.
It's okay. It's okay.
My parents growing up were small business owners. So I kind of had a business sense from a very young age. I had my own business with like a website when I was in third grade. I sold candy. People would place orders and I would bring the orders to like my school. So I grew up kind of knowing how to plan out like longer term things because we were really poor. So if I wanted to get a game or something, like I had to work for it, which I hope that young kids don't have to do that these days, but it has helped me out as an adult. So there's that. I do think that unless you only want to do content creation for the sheer love of it and you don't ever want to grow, you just want to go live and be silly, that's totally fine. But I knew that if I was going to invest a significant amount of time and money, I needed to have a plan, even if I didn't ever go full time. So I took those experiences and just looked at my budget and the resources that I already had. Like TK, I started streaming from my console and I literally had a laptop from my job that I probably shouldn't have been using to stream on, but you know, it's after hours. And it couldn't even run Stardew, but I was able to plug my PlayStation and like wire it somehow into OBS. I can't remember. And I had this old Snowball microphone and I was like, okay, I'm not a face cam streamer. I need to upgrade my mic. So I saved up for that for 6 months and I just got an AT 2020. But I knew that I needed to have a certain amount of money to get started with that. So yeah, budget plan, the kind of community that you want to have. I knew that I wanted my community to be like a haven for like neurodivergent folks, for queer folks, for like marginalized identities of all sorts. So I needed to make sure that I had my guidelines and stuff sorted out and also be really strong on my values. I think that sometimes that's not thought about often when people are getting started in content creation because your values are literally a part of your brand identity. I did a whole panel on this last year because even if you have a persona in your content creation, that persona is still like real to the people that are engaging with your content. Like my persona is still me, but I know that some people have like for whatever reason, like safety or like they just feel more comfortable. So yeah, budget, values, community guidelines, also branding. I feel like you can change your branding over time, but I'm such an aesthetic freak that before I ever went live, I spent a whole year figuring out like what I wanted as like a color palette because I was also in the process of redecorating my space and stuff too. It just helps you to save money in the future if you kind of figure out what you want things to look like beforehand, especially when you get towards wanting to make merch or like I have like a 5 and a 10-year plan for content creation, but I started the 5-year plan 5 years ago, if that makes sense. I feel like my answer is all over the place, but I think
No, it's not.
if you look up any sort of like business planning stuff on YouTube, there's so many more resources available now. I promise that will help you with content creation because I know that it's a creative endeavor, but it's just as much a business as it is a creative endeavor. And I think that it helps to just think about those things, if nothing more, to just help you plan. And how I keep my content fresh, I have ADHD and autism, so I hoard hobbies and stuff. So I just kind of like pick whatever feels good, and if something doesn't feel good, I stop doing it and communicate that to my community that we're doing something else. And I hope that I answered your question. I do
Yes,
apologize. I'm
you
like
did.
all over.
You very much did.
Yeah.
No, thank you so much. And I hoard hobbies too, and I like behind me is like rug tufting. Like I was just like, sure.
Oh, where you have like the
I have
little gun?
I have the gun. Like
Oh, you're out here. Yes. Oh,
I
exactly. Yeah.
I did like 3 things and now it just sits over in the corner and then I
Nice.
move on. So I hoard hobbies too. So I totally
Yeah.
understand that. So thank you. No, you really answered that question though. Thank you. And that advice of approaching your content creation like a business and utilizing YouTube and, as Tipsy said, TikTok as well on like business approaches, because the internet has so much to offer. So no, that's really smart. Thank you.
Mhm.
Let's see. Next question is from Chicken Wing Crossing. How do you practice self-love? I'm actually going to let this be all the ladies on the panel for this one, because loving yourself is really important. TKO? I'm sorry, that's from Chicken Wing Crossing. In my head, I said the name, but I don't think I said it out loud.
You did. You said it.
Oh, okay. TKO.
So I have a practice that I actually recently have put into play, but it's basically if I don't accept a compliment or I start to be negative about myself, I have to say at least 2 things to counteract that. Like 2 positive things, whether it's like accomplishments or just anything that I think is a positive thing about me, my life, anything that I've done. That's the route that I take.
No, that's actually really good. No, thank you for sharing that. That's actually, shoot, I need to be doing that. Like when you start to get too negative, like too positive
Yeah,
things.
which is
Yeah.
really, really easy, you know. So
Yeah. No, thank you. I know that actually makes a lot of sense. Like I'm like thinking about that. I'm like, dang, I really need to start doing that. MVK, how do you practice self-love?
So honestly, I'm still working on that. So I don't really have anything in place because I'm still working on liking myself, if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, get back to me maybe like some months down the road because I've got work to do in that department.
But that is a form of self-love, is working on yourself. So,
Mhm.
because, recognizing that you need to work on it and then go ahead and
Yeah.
set up that plan and work on yourself. So that is a form of self-love. It's like giving yourself space to work on yourself. And Nimbly?
I'm like trying to think of something. I know it's bad, but I can't think of something right now.
That's okay.
I'm like, do I do that, or do I just avoid it with video games?
I think that's me right there.
I'm just like I do all these other things, but I think journaling and singing helped me a lot, because I didn't really have the space to process my feelings growing up. And when I say growing up, I really mean until I got to my 30s. Just I had to internalize a lot of the difficulties and even a lot of my happiness. MVK said something that really impacted me earlier, and feeling the urge, like it's almost compulsory to shrink yourself down, and feeling almost like you're being egotistical when you take up space. So I think when I'm allowed to see those insecurities and thoughts on paper, it's easier for me to process my feelings. And also with singing, it's like if I'm able to find lyrics to a song that I really resonate with, that I wouldn't have the words myself to express those feelings, like that's really cathartic for me. And also just remembering that I am also a friend to myself. So if I'm speaking to myself in a certain way, I have to pretend like I'm almost like an out of body experience where it's like, what would I say to a friend if they were saying these things about themselves or going through this challenge, whether it's something in the external or in my mind. And then journaling about that. And then looking back on those entries and seeing how I felt and if things had changed. That was something that I learned through therapy, just like seeing how I kind of ebb and flow emotionally. Because I feel like especially for like Black women. We just, I don't know if it was like this for you, MVK, but like the Black side of my family was very like old school Southern, and just like children are meant to be seen and not heard, and like you should be so grateful just to have XYZ thing. And it's like, I'm literally a child. But okay.
You become a people pleaser because you don't want to
Yeah.
upset anybody, and then that's where you make
Exactly.
yourself small.
Yeah, and it's like this, like almost like a implant emotionally that prevents you from just feeling fully. Also crying. Oh my God, when we cried together earlier, that felt wonderful because it's like, yeah, I can just feel my feelings because I have huge feelings, and just letting myself just kind of flow and overflow emotionally is. Yeah, I guess I am doing self-love. Yeah, I just had to talk about it. Yeah, there we go. I got 3 things.
No,
Yeah.
because sometimes you don't realize like what you're doing to take care of yourself until you like talk it out. You're like, actually,
Yeah.
I am doing something.
I'm just like, I have been playing a lot of Pokemon.
Listen, I think Animal Crossing got us a lot of us through the pandemic. So
Listen, me and Isabel, we go way back.
It's Spyro the Dragon for me.
see,
I love Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro, little man.
He's my favorite.
It's a little guy.
let's see. Next question is from Prime Encarta, OG follower of both my channel and BIPOC. So thank you, Prime. What type of content games do you stream? So MBK, what do you like to stream?
Okay. So I pretty much like to stream anything that gives me a dopamine rush. Right now, Call of Duty has had my attention, just trying to get better, playing mouse and key. But I will play Fortnite. I play detective games, escape room games, simulators, adventure games. I might put a jigsaw puzzle online and play with the community, or I might sit down and eat noodles and just yap it up. Like literally make some top ramen and we sit down and we just talk. Just really just depends on what I'm feeling. Kind of like how Nimbly was saying earlier, like, you know, she might do something and then it's like, I don't want to do that anymore. Let's switch gears. I try to communicate that to the community, like, hey, I kind of want to put this to the side. Let's try something new and go from there. So it's just whatever is going to give me that dopamine hit.
Listen, nothing wrong with that. Nice little rush.
Mm-hmm.
See, and that's why we're going to play a horror game together, because it'll give you a nice little rush. Yes. They're like, immediately goes the band fangirl after this. Yes. Okay. Sibo, thank you for, thank you everybody, all the mods, Sibo, Maven, Romeo, Tipsy, you guys, thank you, Jealous, everybody for presenting these amazing questions and helping me while I'm doing this panel, because I'm not a real streamer. Okay, so.
Yes, you are.
You are.
Listen, y'all. Shh.
2 nice things about yourself right now.
We're not going to.
2 things right now. 2 things. You said one, 2 things.
Hold on, not y'all bullying me. What is going
Listen,
on?
TKO put it out there. 2 things.
No.
We got to hold ourselves accountable and each other accountable.
2 nice things. I am very disciplined, and when it comes to my health journey and making sure that I stay off of medication, and so good job on being disciplined and doing right. And a good thing is a second good thing about myself.
Mm-hmm. If you don't have one, I have one.
Okay, yes, thank you.
You are passionate about creating a space for people who feel invisible, who feel like they can't be seen, who feel like they are rejected. You have created something that is huge. You created something where we can be represented in more ways than one, whether it's race, gender, technically beliefs too, but you created this space for us. 3-4 years later, here we are, and it's getting bigger and better every year, and you haven't wavered on your passion to make sure that we are seen in the content creation space. So I really want to say thank you. for creating this space for us and inspiring others to do the same. This is very inspirational. So there you go.
Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you, fangirl.
No, thank you. And you're not gonna make me cry. We're not gonna
We
do
thugs. We're thugs.
stuck tears. Stuck tears.
But
No.
It's
seriously,
okay. Mine are pouring out right now. It's fine.
I
I know.
mean, this is something that we have needed in this space for years. Even before I started streaming, before Nimley started streaming, before TKO started streaming, this is something that we needed. And you were that person that was bold enough to step up and say, you know what? I'm going to create this space. If nobody wants us there, we're going to create our own playground and we're going to do it the way we need to do it. And it has been an amazing journey to see it grow. You now have awards that are honored after others. You're creating more categories. You're including more platforms. So, and that's not easy. You and your amazing team. And, you know, you guys have put together something beautiful. So I clap it up for Fangirl. Clap it up for her and to her amazing team for providing the space.
Lord.
You are brave and you are bold for all of that.
No, listen, thank you. Because it's always important knowing your why, like the why. And I realized when I had to sit down and, like, take some, look inside myself, that's always been my passion, is pouring into others and uplifting. Like, my 9 to 5 job is social services, and making sure the most vulnerable people in the community are helped. I've been in this field for 20 years, and this for individuals with developmental disabilities. So a lot of people who just can't speak up, or people are not going to listen to them. And then my other passion is being a teacher. I'm always going to teach. I'm always going to empower others, and I teach psychology to teach the next generation to go into my field. And this is another step, is just pouring love into all these beautiful, amazing people, and making sure that everybody knows that they have somebody behind them that's ready to fight for them and uplift them. And so
And then the method in which you do it is beautiful too, because you give us a chance to uplift others by nominating them. Because some of us as streamers, we may not know the impact that we're making. And we never know who's watching us. And then when we get those nomination emails, it's like, yo, somebody really thought enough of me to put my name in the hat to potentially win an award. Just the nomination alone. I mean, that has got me through some tough days. There were times where I just felt like I was invisible. And then I get the email from you, you've been nominated for this category. You've been nominated for this category. Me? Like, are you kidding me? And then those sad tears that I cry at night before I go to sleep turn into happy tears, because that means I'm making it. No, I'm a thug. I'm making an impact on someone.
We don't got a thug out today. You're okay.
I'm making an impact on someone, and someone thought enough about me to put my name in there. So thank you. Seriously, thank you.
now listen,
On behalf of those who don't feel seen and feel invisible, thank you for creating the space for us to feel seen.
oh Lord, hold on, let me breathe. No, thank you. Like, that's every time, like, I see that this has such an impact on others, like, this is what pushes me through. Like, okay, we can keep doing it, because I know this is helping people. And getting that email, you said, like, how much that really just brings, like, it can brighten up a day. So with that in mind, make sure you guys save the BIPOC Streamer Awards email in your contact, because the worst thing is when we are moving on to round 2 and then somebody didn't respond and they're like, you guys were in my junk email. So,
And also put your email in your bios. Just a side note, put your email in your Twitch bios. It makes it easier for people to find you so that they can nominate you, because we do need email addresses to be able to nominate. So make sure you are putting that in all of your social profiles so that it makes it easier for your community to nominate you.
yes. Thank you. Yep. So as Crispy Spidey said, check your spam folder. Listen, make sure you make that media kit. Make sure we know how to contact you. We are ready to pour into you. Just let us do so. question was I at? Okay. Well, we're going to just keep the tears coming. Have you ever
Oh.
dealt with burnout? If so, how do you cope or prevent it? Actually, this is a great question for everybody because I think we've all probably cycled through this before. And this is from Majin Bay. Like, whew, yes, no, the clean, yes.
Yeah.
So TKO, have you ever dealt with burnout? And if so, how have you coped or prevented it?
Definitely have not been able to prevent it. I have taken quite a few hiatuses. Um, a little backstory. I am diagnosed bipolar 2. So I have a lot of manic and depressive swings. And a lot of them have essentially been triggered through streaming itself with imposter syndrome, not feeling like I'm enough, feeling like I'm too much in the space. Uh, so I've definitely, whenever it's a manic episode, it's very easy to swing up and then turn myself into a green screen for 2 hours and, just be funny and meme around. But then when you hit the depressive swing and you start to feel like um, maybe you're not cut out, maybe you're too old, maybe you're not funny enough, you're not good enough, you're not pretty enough. Because I've definitely felt that too. Like I felt like I'm just not. I don't look the part that needs to be in the top, right? I don't look the part to be entertaining enough or anything like that. So it's definitely made me take a step back from streaming and question what I want to do. And currently, I've experienced that burnout as well. And it has taken me a while. So I guess it piggybacks off that question earlier of where do I want to take my content this year? I basically just kind of sat with myself, took myself off the internet. I still hung around streams and stuff, but took myself off the internet for the most part and just kind of sat with myself and tried to figure out, okay, if I do quit, am I going to be unhappy? The answer is yes. So what do I do in order to make me feel like I do belong, but also be happy with what I'm doing? And that's just where I'm taking my content now, planning that out and then starting that up. So I guess it's really just, I guess the short version, not the long-winded version, is just figuring out where you want to go because you're not always going to feel like what you're making is where you want to be because we all grow and we all change and our interests change. So it's really about figuring out where you want to take the next step and what you want to do.
Yes. Thank you. MVK, have you ever dealt with burnout? And if so, how do you cope or prevent it?
Yes, I have. So I've had to recently switch up, and by recently last few years, switch up how I deal with burnout. Before I found out that I was neurodivergent, I would try to push through whenever I was having a burnout. And I also, like TKO, diagnosed with bipolar type 2. It came to a point to where I didn't even know if I wanted to be on this earth anymore. And that's what I knew. I had to switch up how I did things because I literally wanted to die because I just was overwhelmed with not just streaming, but wife, mom, other things I had going on, work. It was just a lot. So now I make myself take those breaks. And also with being a neurodivergent burnouts are way longer than a neurotypical burnout. It could take months to recover. So when I feel myself getting that way, I have to disconnect. I have to tell the community, hey, I've got to take a few weeks off and I'll be back. Sorry.
No, you're good. No.
You don't have to apologize.
At all. No.
To take a few weeks off and get myself together. And I also don't go into other people's streams if I'm feeling that way because I'm very, very, I'm very into energy and making sure that you keep the energy like light. So if I know that I'm in a bad space, I don't even go into streams. I don't do any of that because I don't want that energy to transfer in to the stream. So I have to completely. I might tap in every once and again on social media, but it's out of sight, out of mind until I can get myself together mentally. So that's how I deal with burnout. I have to completely disconnect.
No, I definitely feel that because that's definitely something I do. Like, I'll definitely disconnect because, you want to take that time to get your space and your mental
Yeah.
right before approaching others. So, no, I understand that. Totally. You do not have to apologize, okay?
Please don't apologize. Yeah.
Mm-mm. That's something.
That's a trauma response. I apologize for everything.
Yeah, that's
You
something
can literally
that.
be like, I tied my shoe today. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Hmm.
I say I'm sorry for everything.
Yeah, and I think as women, we often do just apologize just to apologize. So, don't ever feel that way, especially not in this space. Um, Nimbly.
Hmm. Well, sorry, I'm just getting a little choked up.
Yeah.
I'm good though. I'm glad that we got to talk about the mental health side of burnout because I think
Yes.
that sometimes it's like the elephant in the room, especially in like corporate spaces, which I feel like sometimes people forget that Twitch is a corporation and like we're all a little worker bees, and I think that there's sometimes this guilt that we have as creators that fuels that burnout, where it's like, oh, if I don't stay consistent with a schedule or whatever uh, road bumps that we encounter because we're human, first of all, and we have our intersections of being neurodivergent, our like identities or whatever is going to make that compound. Um, Sorry, I'm trying to form a coherent thought right now, but I have a bunch of thoughts all kind of colliding into each other. But I think that we have that pressure to perform and present perfectly, regardless of what it is that we're doing when we're creators, because that's just what we tell ourselves. And I think that the beauty of live streaming specifically is that we can be more authentic in our expression.
Mm-hmm.
And this will get into the burnout and how I deal with it, because I think that by communicating that we're burnout with our communities and what it is that we're needing, please hold.
Yes. Take a moment.
I know that it helps other people um, do that in their own life because I've gotten so many DMs from people in the past 5 years that have dealt with difficult things in their personal life. I'm sorry. And they tell me that the way that I communicate when I'm overstimulated or I need to take time off has helped them ask for what they need in their own life.
Mm-hmm.
And you know it can feel like a huge burden of guilt to ask for what you need, but if it helps to think about how it will benefit other people, because I know that thinking about things from a communal aspect is sometimes the only time that I'll think about taking care of myself, please do that. It doesn't matter if you just started with content creation or if you've been doing it full time. Like, it's helping other people know that it's okay to have those moments of burnout, of sadness, of
Mm-hmm.
dealing with mental or physical difficulties. And you don't have to be this machine. Like, you are a person, and it's okay to have needs. And that rest is something that we should just have access to. And that you don't need to completely cut yourself off from community just because you're not performing how you think you should be.
Yes.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're listen. we're not gonna apologize here, okay? So thank you, each of you ladies for this amazing response. So we only have 3 more questions, and I'm gonna get you ladies out of here, okay? So we have just right. Yes. So 2 more questions from the chat that we have already established. So thank you everybody in the chat for your amazing questions. But I'm not going to hold these ladies all night. So we're going to do 2 more
Fine.
and then 1 from me, and then we're going to all run away and take a moment. So from Cherry on top. I'm sorry, I'm messing that up. Shelry on top? I'm sorry. When you're not working on your content, do you enjoy any time online as a viewer and audience? Yeah, so when you're not working on your content, do you enjoy any time online as a viewer / audience? MBK.
Absolutely. I have what I call my safe snuggle streams where when I see certain people on, I just pop in there and I'm just hidden and I'm just enjoying myself. Or if I do feel like, being social, I'll get in there and just, chat away. But I absolutely have my safe streamers. Big one is Sibo. I can stay in Sibo streams all morning, whether I say something, I don't say anything. Like, I love being in Evo streams and I could just hide there. Like she was one of my top viewers at the end when they did the Twitch recount. She was one of my most watched streamers because I love her streams. So yes, I do
Yes.
enjoy as a viewer.
Thank you. TKO?
Absolutely. I started out as a viewer back in 2025, or this is 2025, 2015. And I used to just be a lurker, but now I like to go in. You know me, I'm not shy. So I do a lot of typing, a lot of chatting. But because I have ADHD, I tend to try to be a little bit mindful about how I chat in streams because I do type out in thoughts. So I don't want to like take up too many chat lines in there. So I try my best, but yeah, no, I love hanging out in streams.
Yeah. No, I'm the same way. I have to be mindful of that too. Like, wait, hold on. And I'm just like all over
This
the
could all
place.
be in one chat. I'm just typing in lines, but I'm like, I type as I think.
Like, oh,
And
okay.
then if I'm like typing too much, I'm like, oh, do I need to break this up? Can I send this paragraph?
Like, oh, let me just pull back on this novel that I just
Yeah.
wrote. Who are some of your favorite streamers? Because we're gonna pour into everybody.
Go Teasy is a late night streamer that I love watching.
Yes,
Honestly,
I enjoy.
yeah. Sivo has been one that I pull up and lurk because typically they stream during like the morning and that's when I'm doing like a lot of my around the house stuff. So I pulled them up. Cosmic Lav, also fan favorite for like chill stream.
Yeah.
Last Black Spartan has been playing a lot of JRPG Final Fantasy, so I just kind of chill, hang out,
Yeah.
watch. But yeah.
No,
And of course Kage, but I mod in there and I'm always in there.
Oh, I love that. Nimbly.
I'm mostly a lurker. There's a few chats that I yap in. I'm like trying to think. I mod for a lot of my friends, so that's most of where I hang out online these days. I have like a little stream team, which is just me bullying all of my friends to start streaming. So I've recruited them and I'm like, all right, I'm ready for you to go live now. So that's been really nice to see them, come out of their own shells and just like root for them when they're starting out their content creation journeys. And Tick, it's not good to lie. Sorry, that's one of my friends. Yeah, I collected everyone like Pokemon. Yeah, that's where I like to hang out. I've also been hanging out in more Pokemon streams lately. So I've been watching a lot of really sweet, like queer Pokemon creators. One of my, I don't know if she considers me a friend yet. I just kind of see everyone as my friend unless they tell me that they hate me, but that's just how I grew up. Just like, oh, hi, we like the same thing. We're friends now. Cool.
Yes.
But Nora, I've been watching Johnstone. I've been watching Dipped in Poison. I love Poison so much. She is so sweet. She's like a just chatting and tarot streamer. I really like
Ooh, Tara.
Eileen Senpai. She does like souls and like metal reviews. There's so many people that I watch, and I get nervous that if I don't say everyone, someone's going to feel hurt.
Oh no,
But
no. Don't.
I know that's not real, but it's
Felt.
why I don't really. I don't know. It's why sometimes when I'm thinking about who to talk about, I'm like, there's so many of y'all, and I'm such a lurker. Like, there's people that I've watched a lot. There's a streamer named Cupcake. I watched her when I first got on Twitch back in 2016. Yeah, there's just so many people, and I feel very grateful that I have that like tableau of folks to support. And I'm also really glad that Twitch Turbo supports people because there was a point where I was trying to sub to everyone, and I was like, I can't afford that. But yeah. In one stream recently though, I got to 1,500 chat messages in 6 days. So sometimes when I'm out of my shell, I just don't care. If there's a wall of just me, like that, I'm hard carrying that conversation. So just let it loose, TK. Just do it. Just do it. Yeah.
No,
I'll
I
remember
love
that.
that. I hope everybody in the chat is writing down all those amazing streamers that were recommended. I mean, for me, obviously, I just love puzzles. I realized that I
We
definitely
love Gma.
hang out in those streams that are playing music that I can sing along to, and Gma has amazing playlists, so usually I'm jamming.
Yes.
And the other one is in the morning, either when I'm working from home or I'm going to work, is One Reason. He's a streamer out of New York, and he plays amazing gospel music in the morning. So that's like Monday through Friday. I think like starts at like 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. I think, and so I definitely always check him out and hang out with him. So like those are like my two faves. Oh, and now a new one is pushing me some weight. That's a workout streamer, so it's good because we share our workout journey and what he's doing. I'm like, oh okay, next time I'm in the gym. Usually I'm coming home from the gym, he's at the gym, but I'm like, all right,
It's
bet.
motivating, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I love about Andromeda Arcade. Like I was able to join them in this past year, and I don't know. It's what I like about watching people. It's like, okay, they're working out in the Discord. Like I'm gonna get my two little 5-pound dumbbells and like work out at
Mm-hmm. Work it
home.
out.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly. It's all about that motivation. So
Mhm.
like that's what I enjoy. Um and our last question from the chat is actually from Tipsy. Uh how do you handle problems that arise in your community? So I know we all have like our own like discords and like personal communities. Like I know mine is called the classroom because hi, I'm a professor, and so like how do you handle like those type of when problems arise? Because I know sometimes like we're all adults and then people start dating and then it gets messy and then messy falling out. This person's talking about that person and they don't really like them or whatever. So, how do you handle problems that arise in your own community? And this is our second to last question of the night. So, we'll go with Nimbly first.
Well, I take the tools. I also am really glad that we're talking about this because I think that this is something that most people, myself included to an extent, aren't equipped to deal with until something happens, and then it can go in any direction depending on how, so I hope that people take notes. If you don't take notes on anything else that we talked about, please pay attention to these parts. But I did a lot of like community work in my personal life before I started streaming, which included like transformative justice practices and like harm reduction. So I tried to bring those things and values into how I manage streams. So it's like you don't want to do if it's someone that's a part of the community, and I don't just mean people that hang out in the, servers and stuff like that, but people that are like if you think of a community that you're in, it's like, oh, this person is like the goofy person, or everyone kind of has their role when they're really active. If something comes up with them, I usually will talk to my mod team, which is wonderful. They're all my dearest friends, and we'll figure out like, okay, let's look at the situation, like whether it's a message that made someone uncomfortable, or because I have a big focus on mental health in my streams, sometimes it can be tricky to navigate talking points in different spaces. So we try to ask people to, anyway, we just have all these practices just to make sure that people are able to be their full selves, but also keeping people as safe as we possibly can. So we've had a few instances where people were struggling like mentally, and we've tried to find resources for them. And I talk to my mods as frequently as possible when things come up. We have like a ticket system in Discord. So if there's like, mostly it's just been used for spam bots that come into the server, but occasionally it's been like, we had one incident, unfortunately, last year where there was someone that joined our community from another community and was being very inappropriate with some folks in Discord DMs. So we talked about it amongst ourselves as the mod team and how to handle the situation so that we could keep the people that were impacted by this, like keep their identities private, so the person that was doing this wouldn't retaliate, but also let that person know that they were not welcome in the space and why. Especially, sometimes people don't understand that what they're doing is harmful, but it also doesn't mean that we have to give them infinite chances to keep perpetuating that harm, if that makes sense. So it's a very like involved process. So yeah, it takes a lot of back and forth conversations. If it ends up being a thing where someone was, I'm trying to be vague so that I don't like unpack specific incidents that came up. But if it's been something that was so egregious in the community that I felt like everyone needed to know, I'll talk about it on stream and in Discord, just so that people know that when we're handling incidents in the community, it's not like this like hush hush thing. And because I want people to feel like they can trust us to keep the space as safe as we possibly can. And sometimes that does mean broaching these difficult conversations of, hey, if someone is making you feel unsafe or uncomfortable, like, please don't feel like we're going to be upset with you if you talk to us about it. Like, I would rather feel whatever it is I'm feeling about that person and make sure that you're being taken care of, and thus the space is being taken care of, than for you to suffer with that, on your own. So yeah, I hope I answered that. I feel like I just gave a bunch of yap and
you gave a lot of great practices that you utilize.
I have a lot of documents too if people want like resources for that stuff. It's like part of our Discord rules. It's like, what does transformative justice mean? What does harm reduction mean? Because we don't want people to be without community, but we also want to keep the community safe.
Yes.
So it's not a witch hunt, but it's an accountability process. So
no, that's good. No, thank you. TKO?
Thankfully I haven't had anything that's like too much, whether it's dangerous or anything like that happen in my community. But any kind of miscommunication or any drama, like minuscule or what have you, typically myself or one of my mods will reach out to both parties. I feel like my community is pretty. They feel safe enough to reach out to mods. I will say that they don't tend to like to bother me, which is not bothering, but they tend to not like, they don't want to dump on me because it's my community, but they will reach out to my mods and voice a concern or a problem that they may have had with another community member. And then the mod will come to me about it and we'll discuss how it goes. And either I'll reach out to the other party and then basically try to just kind of squash it between the two. And if they can coexist, they can coexist. Or if they can just like find that friendship again, then it usually pans out pretty well. But I think I've only ever had one instance where it's like that didn't necessarily work. They could not one could not coexist with the other, and also they didn't want to reconcile. So that person chose on their own to leave. But outside of that, yeah, it's mostly just reaching and talking and getting both sides to see if it was more stimulated by emotion or if there's like a deeper concern.
Thank you. MBK?
Okay, so like TKO, it's rare that it happens in the infirmary, which is the name of my community. But I also just I'm learning as I'm listening to allow my mods to handle more because I'm one of those ones when there's drama happening, I want it to be squashed, but I'll throw myself out there to be like, hey, can we have a Discord call so both parties can, talk and listen to each other and try to work this out. But as I'm growing, I'm learning that I can't put all the fires out by myself. And this is why I'm so glad we had this question. So I have to learn to let my mods also help me put out fires should they happen. But how I've been handling it is it depends on what the situation is. If it's a safety concern, gotta get them out of there. That's just me. Bounce them out the door because I have to protect the peace of the infirmary, the energy of the infirmary. I just have to make sure they're protected, as well as my space and peace too. But the community has to be protected. But if it's something that, as TKO said, if it's something that can be worked out between the parties involved, get together in a Discord call. I'm a neutral party. You say your piece while the other one's quiet. Vice versa. How we come to the resolution. What's it going to be? Okay, we finish it. It doesn't go on Twitter. It doesn't go out to anybody else. It stays in that Discord room or it stays with, whomever, especially if it's multiple people coming to me about the same thing at once. And it's like, so somebody out here is talking. We need to figure out what's going on here, like get to the root of this, but try to get at least the two main parties talking so that they can get it worked out. But now I just wrote it down. I need to allow my mods to help me also mediate the situation. I can't put everything out myself because it will lead to burnout. It will, eventually not really affect me, but I'll think about it and be like, how can I help this situation? Because I do have a strong sense of justice and I do want things to be worked out and I don't want anybody mad at each other. So yeah, I'm learning. So thank you, TKO and Nimbly, for your input. I'm glad you started with them first because I don't think I would have been able to answer that question at first. I'd have been like, yeah, can you come back to me? So thank you.
Listen, each one of you have brought amazing insights throughout this whole night. And I'm not going to hold you much longer because we have just our final question. So again, thank you everybody in chat for your amazing questions. Because then I just threw all my questions out the window. So yeah. So our final question of the night. What advice would you give to your younger self when starting out? So we're going to go back in time. What advice would you have given to your younger self when starting out? Nimbly?
I don't think she would have listened.
Mood.
I would have probably said get started with YouTube. Yeah, get started with YouTube. At the very beginning. I'm a little bit headstrong, so I don't think she would have listened, but I think telling her to get, oh no, actually not YouTube, TikTok, especially because when I started streaming, it was in 2020. I think TikTok I don't know what it's like now. I'm afraid of it, but yeah, getting started with TikTok in tandem with streaming, that would be a big one. And also, don't be so shy. Shyness as a personality trait is fine, but I guess social anxiety. Don't cut yourself off from getting to know people. Yeah.
Thank you. I'm just going to go clockwise. MBK?
So I would tell my younger self to give yourself more grace. It's okay to fail. It's okay to make mistakes. Don't be so hard on yourself. And don't make yourself small. Don't make yourself seem invisible. It is okay to say, hey, I have something to offer here. Give me a chance to check me out, instead of just tucking yourself away in the corner and watching everybody achieve their dreams. And then you're just sitting there like, yeah, it'll never happen for me. So don't be so hard and negative on yourself. Give yourself more grace and take breaks when needed.
Mm-hmm. Listen, those breaks are needed. And last but not least, TKO.
Kind of the same as MVK, but yeah, definitely stop letting people get to you so much that you do make yourself small or feel like you need to water yourself down in order to have a place, because that's not true. And also focus more on what you enjoy and what is making you happy with this. Don't lose sight of that, because there will be people that will try and succeed in making you feel like you're less than, and that you don't deserve anything that you are wanting to do, when that's just not true.
Yes. Thank you. So thank you to everybody in chat for hanging out with us in this great discussion during Women's History Month, and just, talking our truths. Thank you to the panelists. I really appreciate you for doing this and letting me hijack your Saturday night for 2 hours. So thank you. I appreciate that. So now's the part where you shamelessly plug yourself. Tell people where to find you, if there's a certain channel you want them to pull up on, so on and so forth. I'm just going to go counterclockwise. TKO.
I'm TKO. You can find me on Twitch at TKO, or on Twitter, Instagram. I'm starting to post more on Instagram stories, so hopefully I'll get to posting actual posts there. I've been more active on Twitter, I guess. But yeah, you can find me there. Look out for all of the new content that I'll be posting this year. That's it.
Yep, you better share that cinematic content that we all going to pull up and support. So
yeah, let's all go to Japan.
Listen, I'm going in 2 years. The pandemic
there you
derailed
go.
me last time, but I'm going. So it's a group trip. Everybody is welcome. MVK, where can we find you, and shamelessly plug yourself?
So I am on Twitch, TikTok, Twitter, formerly known as X. I need to get my Instagram together, and YouTube. Everything is MVK. Right now I'm just doing cozy, chaotic, casual, comedic shooting on COD. Yes, I laugh at myself a lot as I die. My goal is to get 10% and 30 kills every game. If I could do that, I'm good. But yeah, find me on all those platforms, MVK, and I'd love to see you.
Awesome. First of all, I love that cozy, chaotic COD, because I definitely like to sing gospel while I play zombies. So,
You know,
oh my gosh, incredible.
it totally makes sense when you're doing prop hunt and then,
Yeah, because I know I'm not that great at the game. Like, I play Warzone, so I just laugh at myself, and I'm just comedic with myself. I'm just like, MVK, why did you do that? Why did you go through that door knowing there's 4 people in the corner looking at you, and they're about to make you dance on their bullets? Like,
Yeah.
you know, MVK. So
It's okay. And Nimbly, shamelessly plug.
You can find me everywhere if you go to nimbly.garden. I also want to say, if you get a Discord friend request from somebody that doesn't have a super magical fairy profile that says Nimbly, that's not me. There's some weird person pretending to be me and like scamming people for like content creation advice. I will give y'all content creation advice for free. You can email me. It's nimbly@amg.gg. I will happily help people. I just want to say that while I have this space, because
Yes.
I've gotten so many DMs from people saying like, hey, there's this fake person. But anyway, and yeah, I am trying to also be more active on Instagram. I like Instagram a lot, but I just don't really like posting on there. I'm kind of a big lurker, but I'm mostly on Twitch. You will eventually find me doing ASMR and like Infinity Nikki and Pokemon content on YouTube. But yeah, seriously, thank you, Fangirl, for putting this all together, and MVK and TK for being awesome and open and vulnerable and making me cry 11 times today. It felt good. It felt good. I love connecting with people.
Yeah.
I mean, it's probably not good to cry as soon as you meet someone, but I don't really care because I'm a crybaby. So, yeah. But seriously, thank you for this space today.
No, I just want to say thank you to every single one of you for agreeing to do this and being here and sharing so much and so much amazing knowledge. I know everybody in chat, like you said, has 5,000 notes that they took. I hope everybody takes something from this. Yes, this will be available on YouTube afterwards. Just give me a day or two, okay? But this will be available on YouTube, so you can always look back and hear the great gems that each one of the ladies dropped. So everybody, thank you again. And okay, as always, nominations end March 31st. So make sure you are nominating your favorite BIPOC streamer, which any one of these three lovely ladies definitely you can nominate. Okay. And remember, you need at least 15 nominations to move on to round 2. Yes, we put this into place because as it kept growing every year, there was no way that we could accommodate how crazy it got. So just to, make sure we had people who are serious about their nominations, 15 to move on to round 2. And yes, so thank you to my amazing team. Thank you to all the mods in the chat. Thank you, everybody. And we are going to raid out. So I should have actually looked that up. Unless any one of you lovely ladies have a amazing BIPOC woman that you could suggest. Because I will take suggestions on who we can.
Who's live?
Let me actually make sure I'm set and ready to actually raid. Because sometimes I'll be like, oh, yeah, we're going to raid them. And I'm like, oh, wait. Hold on.
See, Miss Asherox
Oh my
is
gosh.
live.
Okay. Oh, Jess. OM Jess. She's literally playing Repo right now.
And OM Jess won Mod of the Year and in some shooters.
Mm-hmm.
I
She
need to have
also
it
has-
like posted on the wall.
You got Shooters Got to Shoot, I think, 1 year and Mod of the Year 1 year.
Yes.
Yep.
I think
Yeah.
Shooters was last year. Okay, perfect.
Yep.
She has the best laugh I've ever heard. It's so
Yes.
infectious, and she loves to sing. She has a beautiful singing voice. Yeah.
And perfect. Let's grab OM Jess. Oh, look, she's playing Repo.
Yeah. Right on brand.
Perfect for when I gather all of you lovely ladies again to play Repo. So let's show some love to OM Jess. 2-time. Can I spell? There. 2-time award winner. I think we have a raid message in my head. We are streamers because right, everybody said we're streamers, right?
We are.
We are streaming.
There we go. There's a raid message. So you guys go ahead and hit that raid message. I'm going to do that little starting soon. I'm sorry, the ending screen because again, we are streamers and that amazing music was made by Scooby Snacks.
Heck yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Let's go show some love.
Right.
And until we see you next time. Oh, duh. Discord movie night next Friday. Okay.
Oh, let's do it.
Nice.
Yes. Bye, everybody.
Bye.
BIPOC Streamer Awards. Go where you're celebrated, not tolerated.